The day started like any other on Earth. People went about their daily lives, unaware of the impending doom that lurked just beyond the atmosphere. In New York, London, Tokyo, and countless other cities, humans bustled through their routines, oblivious to the alien eyes watching them from above. High in orbit, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology, the Zorgon fleet prepared for their surprise attack. Commander Zix, a tall, purple-skinned alien with 4 arms and eyes that glowed like embers, stood on the bridge of his massive warship. He looked down at the blue planet with a mixture of contempt and anticipation. "Primitives," Zix hissed to his second-in-command. "They don't even know we exist. This will be easier than taking candy from a gloopy child." Little did Zix know, his arrogance would be the first step towards his downfall. As the sun rose over the east coast of the United States, the Zorgon ships finally revealed themselves. Their massive forms blocked out the sun, casting long shadows over the cities below. Panic spread like wildfire as humans looked up to see the impossible. A fleet of alien ships, each the size of a small country, hovering ominously in the sky. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Thompson received the alarming news. Her face paled as she listened to frantic reports from military bases around the world. "Madam President," General Davis said, his voice trembling, "we're under attack. Our weapons, they're not even scratching their ships." Meanwhile, in a small town in the Midwest, high school teacher John Baker stared at the sky in disbelief. His students huddled around him, their young faces etched with fear. "Mr. Baker," a girl named Emily whispered, "what's going to happen to us?" John swallowed hard, trying to find words of comfort. But before he could speak, a blinding light filled the sky, followed by an earth-shattering boom. The Zorgons had begun their assault. Across the globe, major cities fell under attack. The alien weapons were like nothing humans had ever seen before. Beams of energy that could vaporize entire buildings, force fields that rendered conventional weapons useless, and swarms of smaller ships that darted through the skies, wreaking havoc. In London, Big Ben crumbled under the alien onslaught. In Beijing, the Great Wall was reduced to rubble. The pyramids of Giza, structures that had stood for thousands of years, were wiped from the face of the earth in seconds. Humanity's military forces scrambled to respond, but their efforts seemed futile. Fighter jets were swatted from the sky like flies. Tanks and artillery were demolished before they could even fire a shot. The most powerful nations on Earth found themselves helpless against this cosmic threat. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, the situation looked bleak. Millions were dead or missing. Major cities lay in ruins. World leaders were in hiding. Communication networks were in chaos, and a sense of hopelessness began to settle over the survivors. But even in the darkest hour, sparks of human resilience began to ignite. In the basement of a destroyed university, Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a brilliant computer scientist, worked feverishly on her laptop. She had noticed a pattern in the alien attacks, a split-second lag in their weapon systems. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Thousands of miles away, in the Australian outback, a group of indigenous trackers led by Charlie Cooper used their ancient knowledge of the land to hide a group of survivors from the alien patrols. They knew every cave, every hidden water source, every trick to move unseen across the vast desert. And in the ruins of New York City, a former Marine named Mike Chen began to gather survivors. He had seen the alien ships up close, noticed weak points in their armor. "We're not done yet," he told the scared faces around him. "This is our home, and we're going to take it back." As night fell on the first day of the invasion, Earth seemed defeated. But in hidden corners, in secreted bunkers, in the hearts of those who refused to give up, the seeds of resistance were already taking root. The Zorgons may have won the first battle, but the war for Earth was far from over. Humanity, with its back against the wall, was about to show the galaxy why you should never, ever underestimate the human spirit. The unforeseen invasion had begun, But so too had humanity's journey towards an unexpected destiny among the stars. 2 weeks had passed since the Zorgan invasion began. The initial shock had worn off, replaced by a grim determination to survive. Across the globe, pockets of resistance formed, each finding unique ways to fight back against the alien oppressors. In the ruins of MIT, Dr. Sarah Chen worked tirelessly. The young scientist had always been brilliant, but now her genius was humanity's best hope. Surrounded by salvaged computers and alien tech scavenged from crashed Zorgan ships, she typed furiously, her eyes reflecting the glow of multiple screens. "I think I've got something," she muttered to her small team. They huddled around her, hope shining in their tired eyes. "Look here," Sarah pointed to a string of alien code. "They're communication systems. They're not as secure as they think." Meanwhile, in the dense Amazon rainforest, a group of survivors led by Brazilian Special Forces Captain Rafael Silva had set up a hidden base. They used the thick canopy to shield themselves from Zorgan scanners and the diverse plant life to create natural camouflage. Silva watched as his team practiced with makeshift weapons. "We may not have their technology," he told a young recruit, "but we have something they don't. Knowledge of our land and the will to protect it." Across the ocean, in the underground tunnels of Paris, a different kind of resistance brewed. Hackers, artists, and engineers worked together, creating propaganda that spread hope and information across the remaining human networks. They called themselves Les Lumières, the Enlightened. Marie, a former street artist, spray-painted a mural on a tunnel wall. It showed a human hand crushing the Zorgan ship. "Art is our weapon," she said to a fellow rebel. "It keeps our spirit alive." Back in New York, Mike Chen's group had grown. They now occupied a fortified section of the subway system. Chen had been studying Zorgan patrol patterns and had made a crucial discovery. "They're creatures of habit," he explained to his team. "Every 67 minutes, there's a 10-second gap in their patrol. That's our window." Using this information, Chen's group began conducting lightning-fast raids on Zorgan supply lines. They couldn't take down ships, but they could disrupt the aliens' ground operations. In orbit, Commander Zix was growing frustrated. What should have been a quick conquest was turning into a prolonged struggle. "How are these primitives still resisting?" he snarled at his officers. "Find their hideouts and crush them." But crushing the human spirit proved harder than Zix had anticipated. For every resistance cell the Zorgans destroyed, 2 more seemed to spring up in its place. In Australia, Charlie Cooper's group had become experts at hit-and-run tactics. They used the vast outback to their advantage, striking Zorgan outposts and disappearing into the desert before retaliation could come. During one such raid, Cooper found something strange. A piece of Zorgan tech that seemed to react to his touch. "Crikey," he whispered, pocketing the device. "The doc needs to see this." As these pockets of resistance grew and connected, a global network began to form. Humanity, adaptable as ever, was learning to fight back. Dr. Chen's breakthrough came on a rainy night. She had managed to crack a portion of the Zorgan communication code. "We can't understand everything," she told her team, excitement in her voice, "but we can disrupt their signals. We can blind them." The news spread like wildfire through the resistance network. For the first time since the invasion, humanity had a real advantage. In Washington, D.C., in a bunker deep beneath the ruins of the White House, President Thompson received the news. A glimmer of hope shone in her eyes. "Tell Dr. Chen to proceed," she ordered, "and get me in touch with all resistance leaders. It's time we coordinate our efforts." As the resistance prepared for their first coordinated global attack, the Zorgans remained oblivious. Their arrogance, which had led them to underestimate humanity from the start, would be their downfall. In his ship, Commander Zix looked down at Earth, still confident in his ultimate victory. He couldn't know that at that very moment, Dr. Chen was about to push a button that would change everything. As Sarah's finger hovered over the key that would activate her disruptive code, she took a deep breath. "For Earth," she whispered, and pressed down. Across the planet, Zorgan ships suddenly lost communication with each other. Their coordinated attack patterns fell into disarray, and in that moment of confusion, humanity struck back. The battle for Earth was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, the tide was about to turn. Human ingenuity had awakened, and the Zorgans were about to learn why it was a force to be reckoned with. The coordinated attack against the Zorgans had been a success, but humanity knew the aliens would soon regroup. They needed something more, a game-changer that could turn the tide of the war decisively in their favor. That game-changer came from an unexpected source. In the heart of the African continent, deep in the Congo Basin, a team of geologists led by Dr. Amina Okoro had been hiding from the Zorgan patrols. They had taken shelter in a series of ancient caves, using their knowledge of the Earth to stay one step ahead of the alien invaders. One day, while exploring deeper into the cave system, Dr. Okoro's hand brushed against a strange symbol carved into the rock wall. To her amazement, the symbol began to glow with an eerie blue light. "Everyone, come quick," she called out, her voice echoing through the caverns. As her team gathered around, the glowing symbol suddenly projected a holographic map of the Earth. But this wasn't the Earth as they knew it. The hologram showed a network of glowing lines crisscrossing the planet's interior, converging at several points around the globe. "What is this?" whispered one of her colleagues, eyes wide with wonder. Dr. Okoro shook her head, equally amazed. "I don't know, but I think we've just stumbled onto something big, something that could change everything." Word of the discovery spread quickly through the resistance network. Soon, similar reports came in from around the world. In the mountains of Peru, beneath the ice of Antarctica, in the depths of the Mariana Trench, hidden caches of advanced technology were being found, all bearing the same strange symbols. Dr. Sarah Chen, now operating from a secret base in the Rocky Mountains, worked day and night to decipher the alien language. "It's not Zorgan," she explained during a global video conference with resistance leaders. "This technology is much, much older and more advanced." President Thompson, her face haggard but determined, leaned forward. "Can we use it against the Zorgans?" "That's the thing," Dr. Chen replied, excitement clear in her voice. "This tech seems to respond only to human DNA. It's as if it was left here for us to find." The implications were staggering. An ancient alien race had visited Earth in the distant past and left behind a powerful legacy, lying dormant until humanity needed it most. But time was running out. The Zorgans, enraged by the recent human victories, were preparing for a massive counterattack. The resistance needed to unlock the secrets of this ancient technology fast. Teams were dispatched to the major convergence points identified by the holographic map. In the Himalayas, Mike Chen led a group of climbers to a hidden entrance high on the slopes of Mount Everest. In Australia, Charlie Cooper's team ventured into the scorching heart of the outback, following the map to a location deep underground. Each team faced its own challenges. In the Himalayas, Chen's group battled freezing temperatures and thin air, all while dodging Zorgan patrols. In Australia, Cooper's team nearly succumbed to heat exhaustion before finally locating the hidden entrance. But it was Dr. Okoro's team in the Congo that made the crucial breakthrough. Deep within the cave system, they discovered a massive chamber filled with sleek, otherworldly machinery. At the center stood a pillar with a handprint scanner. Dr. Okoro, heart pounding, placed her hand on the scanner. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a low hum, the entire chamber came to life. Holographic displays flickered into existence, showing schematics for weapons and defenses far beyond current human technology. "My God," Okoro breathed, "we've just changed the course of the war." As the ancient machinery awakened around the world, the Zorgan sensors went haywire. Commander Zix, watching in disbelief as energy readings spiked across the planet, felt fear for the first time since the invasion began. "What is happening?" he demanded, but none of his officers had an answer. Back on Earth, humanity began to harness its newfound power. The ancient technology provided shields that could withstand Zorgan weapons, energy beams that could pierce their strongest armor, and communication systems that couldn't be hacked or jammed. For the first time since the invasion, hope blossomed in the hearts of humans everywhere. They had found their hidden strength, a gift from the stars themselves. As they prepared to face the Zorgans with their new weapons, one thing became clear: the tide of the war had truly turned. The Zorgans had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the full might of humanity, armed with the legacy of the stars. The battle for Earth was about to enter its final, decisive phase. The world held its breath as humanity prepared for its most daring counterattack yet. Armed with the ancient alien technology, resistance forces around the globe readied themselves for a synchronized assault on the Zorgan invaders. In orbit, Commander Zix paced nervously on the bridge of his flagship. The strange energy readings from Earth had only intensified, and his scouts reported bizarre sightings of humans wielding weapons unlike anything they'd seen before. "Impossible," Zix muttered, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. These primitives couldn't have advanced so quickly. Little did he know, the primitives were about to prove him very, very wrong. The attack began at dawn. In New York, Mike Chen led a squad armed with energy rifles reverse-engineered from the ancient tech. They moved through the ruins of Manhattan, their weapons cutting through Zorgan armor like it was paper. "For Earth," Chen shouted as they stormed a Zorgan command post. The aliens, caught completely off guard, didn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, in the skies above London, a squadron of fighters piloted by Royal Air Force veterans soared into battle. But these weren't ordinary jets, retrofitted with anti-gravity tech and energy shields. They danced around the lumbering Zorgan ships, landing blow after devastating blow. Squadron leader Emma Watson grinned as she barrel-rolled around a Zorgan cruiser, her energy cannons leaving gaping holes in its hull. "Cheerio, you purple bastards," she quipped as the massive ship crashed into the Thames. Across the Pacific, in Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka activated a massive energy dome over the city. Zorgan weapons fire splashed harmlessly against the shimmering barrier. From within the safety of the dome, Japanese defense forces launched counterattacks, slowly pushing the aliens back. But the most spectacular battle was taking place in the heart of Africa. Dr. Amina Okoro, having fully activated the ancient base in the Congo, now controlled a network of orbital defense satellites. With a series of complex gestures on a holographic interface, she directed devastating energy beams at the Zorgan fleet. "This is for every life you've taken," Amina said, her voice steady as she watched Zorgan ships explode in the sky above. The Zorgans, reeling from attacks on multiple fronts, struggled to mount an effective defense. Their once invincible warships were being torn apart, their ground forces routed by humans wielding technology that matched or even surpassed their own. Commander Zix watched in horror as reports of defeats poured in from around the planet. "Retreat," he finally bellowed, his pride shattered. "All forces, retreat immediately." But retreat wasn't as simple as Zix had hoped. The humans, empowered by their newfound strength and burning with the desire for vengeance, pressed their advantage relentlessly. In Australia, Charlie Cooper led a team that captured a Zorgan supply depot. "Looks like alien Tuckers on the menu tonight, mates," he joked, even as his eyes shone with fierce triumph. President Thompson, coordinating the global effort from her mobile command center, received update after update of human victories. For the first time since the invasion, she allowed herself a small smile. "Keep pushing," she ordered. "We've got them on the run." As the battle raged on, news of Earth's resistance spread across the galaxy. Other alien races, who had watched the Zorgan invasion with detached interest or fear, now looked on in astonishment as the supposedly primitive humans turned the tables on their attackers. In the Galactic Council chambers, urgent meetings were called. The balance of power was shifting, and the rise of humanity as a formidable force sent shockwaves through interstellar politics. Back on Earth, the humans continued to push the Zorgans back. City after city was liberated, each victory adding to the growing momentum. The ancient technology, combined with human ingenuity and determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. By the end of the day, nearly half of the Zorgan occupation forces had been driven off the planet. The remaining aliens found themselves trapped, cut off from their fleet, and facing an enemy that grew stronger by the hour. As night fell, Commander Zix made a desperate call to the Zorgan homeworld. "Send reinforcements," he pleaded. "These humans, they're not what we thought they were. They have weapons, technologies. Send everything you can." But even as he spoke, Zix knew it might be too late. The humans had not just turned the tide of the battle, they had fundamentally altered the course of galactic history. In the ruins of Paris, Marie painted a new mural. It showed a human hand, not crushing the Zorgan ship as before, but reaching for the stars. Around her, people cheered and hugged each other, celebrating their first true victory. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear: humanity had risen, and the galaxy would never be the same again. As Earth celebrated its victories against the Zorgans, ripples of shock spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council, a body of the most powerful alien races, called an emergency session to address what they now termed the human problem. The council chambers, a massive structure floating in neutral space, buzzed with tension. Representatives from 100 different species argued in a cacophony of languages, their translator devices struggling to keep up. At the center of it all stood Psylocke, the ancient and respected leader of the council. His crystalline body glimmered as he raised all four of his arms for silence. "Order." Psylocke's voice boomed. "We face an unprecedented situation. The Zorgans, one of our strongest members, are being defeated by a species that, until now, we considered primitive." On a giant holographic display, images of Earth's counterattack played out. Alien delegates watched in awe as human fighters, armed with technology that rivaled their own, pushed back the once invincible Zorgan forces. "How is this possible?" demanded the Vrexian ambassador, his tentacles writhing in agitation. The humans were barely spacefaring a rotation ago. A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Zorgan representative, looking considerably less arrogant than usual, stepped forward. "Honored Council," he began, his voice strained. "We underestimated the humans. They have weapons, defenses, technologies we've never seen before. We request immediate assistance in subduing this threat." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some species called for the total annihilation of humanity, fearing their rapid rise. Others argued for diplomatic solutions, seeing potential in this new powerful race. Meanwhile, back on Earth, President Thompson received word of the Council's emergency meeting. She turned to Dr. Sarah Chen, who had become her chief advisor on alien matters. "They're scared of us now," Thompson mused, looking at the report. Chen nodded, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Good. Fear can lead to respect. We need to make our voice heard in that council." Across the globe, humanity prepared for its debut on the galactic stage. In New York, the UN convened a special session to elect Earth's first galactic ambassador. After heated debates, they chose Dr. Amina Okoro, whose discovery of the ancient technology had turned the tide of the war. As Okoro prepared for her mission, Mike Chen and his team worked on retrofitting the Zorgan ship for the journey. "Never thought I'd be playing mechanic on an alien spaceship," Chen chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. In orbit, Commander Zix watched the preparations with a mix of fear and grudging respect. His bid for reinforcements had been denied. The Zorgan Empire, fearing further losses, had abandoned him. "Perhaps," Zix muttered to himself, "it's time to consider alternatives." Back in the council chambers, the debate raged on. The Araxians, a peaceful race of scholars, argued for opening diplomatic channels with Earth. The warlike Kroll, on the other hand, demanded immediate military action. We cannot allow such a volatile species to join galactic society. The Kroll ambassador roared, slamming his armored fist on the podium. Just as the argument reached a fever pitch, the chamber doors slid open. A hush fell over the aliens as a single figure walked in. Dr. Amina Okoro, flanked by Mike Chen and a small security detail. Okoro's voice, calm but firm, cut through the silence. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, I come on behalf of Earth, not to plead, but to take our rightful place among the stars. The chamber erupted once more, but Psylocke raised his arms for silence. Human, he said, his tone neutral, your presence here is unexpected. What do you seek from this council? Amina's reply was swift and confident. Recognition, reparations for the unprovoked Zorgan attack, and a seat on this council. Gasps and angry shouts filled the air. The idea of these newcomers demanding a council seat was unthinkable to many. But before anyone could object further, Amina activated a small device. Above her, a hologram sprang to life, showing the full extent of Earth's newfound technological capabilities. We have no desire for war, Amina continued, her voice carrying across the stunned chamber. But make no mistake, we will defend ourselves. We offer friendship to those who extend the same. To those who don't, she let the implication hang in the air. As the council members watched the display of Earth's power, a new reality settled over the chamber. The galaxy had changed, and at its center stood humanity, no longer primitive, no longer ignorable. The age of Earth's isolation was over. Now, the true test of humanity's place in the cosmos would begin. The Galactic Council chambers had never seen such tension. Dr. Amina Okoro stood tall, her holographic display of Earth's power still shimmering in the air. The alien delegates whispered among themselves, a mix of fear and awe in their voices. Psylocke, the crystalline leader of the council, finally broke the silence. Human, your demands are unprecedented. The council needs time to discuss this matter. Amina's eyes narrowed. With all due respect, Councillor Psylocke, time is a luxury we don't have. Even as we speak, Zorgan forces continue to attack our planet. Back on Earth, the situation was indeed dire. Despite their victories, humans were still fighting a desperate battle against the remaining Zorgan forces. Cities lay in ruins, and millions were still in danger. President Thompson, watching the council proceedings via a secure link, turned to her advisors. We need to push harder. Dr. Chen, is the package ready? Sarah Chen nodded grimly. Yes, Madam President. But are you sure about this? Once we do this, there's no going back. Thompson's face was set with determination. We're already past the point of no return. Send the signal to Okoro. In the council chambers, Amina's communication device blinked. She read the message and a small smile played on her lips. It was time for Earth's ultimate gambit. Esteemed Council, Amina's voice rang out, silencing the murmurs. Allow me to present evidence of the Zorgan's unprovoked attack on our world. With a flick of her wrist, Amina activated another hologram. It showed footage of the initial Zorgan invasion. Cities in flames, civilians running in terror, the merciless assault on a planet that had no idea aliens existed. The council watched in shocked silence. Even the Zorgan representative seemed to shrink in his seat. This attack was not just a crime against humanity. Amina continued, her voice filled with controlled anger. It was a crime against galactic law. The Zorgans attacked a non-spacefaring civilization, a clear violation of the Council's prime directive. Psylocke's crystalline form shimmered with concern. These are serious accusations, human. If true, the Zorgans will face severe consequences. The Zorgan representative jumped to his feet. Lies. All lies. These humans are trying to manipulate the Council. But Amina wasn't finished. We don't just bring accusations, we bring solutions. She activated a final hologram, showing schematics of the ancient technology Earth had discovered. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Many of the alien races recognized the technology. It was far more advanced than anything currently in use. This technology, Amina explained, was left on Earth by an ancient race. We've only begun to scratch the surface of its capabilities, but we're willing to share it with the galaxy under certain conditions. The Council erupted into chaos. The idea of humans possessing such advanced technology was unthinkable to many. Others saw the potential benefits and were already calculating the advantages of an alliance with Earth. Amina raised her voice over the din. Our conditions are simple. 1. Immediate withdrawal of all Zorgan forces from Earth. 2. Reparations for the damage caused by their invasion. 3. Recognition of Earth as a sovereign galactic power and a seat on this council. She paused, letting her words sink in. Then came the ultimatum. If these conditions are not met, we will have no choice but to use this technology to defend ourselves by any means necessary. And let me be clear, we have the capability to disrupt the entire galactic economy if forced to do so. The chamber fell silent. The implications of Amina's words were staggering. With the ancient technology, Earth could indeed become a major threat if pushed too far. Xylox's voice was grave when he spoke. You realize, human, that what you're proposing could be seen as blackmail. Amina's gaze was unwavering. We see it as survival, counselor. Humanity has been pushed to the brink. We will not go quietly into the night. As the council debated furiously, Mike Chen leaned close to Amina. Think it worked, he whispered. Amina's expression was a mix of hope and determination. It has to. For Earth's sake, it has to. Back on Earth, President Thompson watched the proceedings with bated breath. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. Would the galaxy accept Earth as an equal, or would they face an even greater war? As the Council prepared to vote, one thing was clear. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had made its stand, and now the universe would have to adapt to the rise of Earth. The Galactic Council chambers were silent as the votes were tallied. Dr. Amina Okoro stood tall, her heart racing but her exterior calm. Beside her, Mike Chen fidgeted nervously, his hand resting on his weapon. Finally, Xylox's crystalline form shimmered as he rose to announce the decision. By a narrow margin, his voice echoed through the chamber. The Council has voted to accept Earth's terms. A collective gasp rippled through the alien delegates. Amina allowed herself a small smile of triumph. Xylox continued. The Zorgans will immediately withdraw from Earth. Reparations will be paid, and he paused, as if the words were difficult to say. Earth will be granted a seat on the Galactic Council. Back on Earth, cheers erupted in command centers across the globe. President Thompson closed her eyes in relief, tears streaming down her face. We did it, she whispered. But the galactic drama was far from over. The Zorgan representative, his purple skin now a pale lavender, stood up shakily. This is outrageous. We cannot bow to these primitives. Amina's voice cut through his protests like a knife. Your invasion was outrageous, Zorgan. Be grateful that we're offering peace instead of retribution. As if on cue, the holographic display behind her changed, showing Zorgan ships across Earth beginning to retreat. The message was clear. Earth's ultimatum had teeth. In the following days, the galaxy witnessed an unprecedented shift in power. Zorgan forces withdrew from Earth, leaving behind a planet scared but unbroken. As news of Earth's victory spread, other alien races rushed to establish diplomatic relations with the newly recognized galactic power. Dr. Sarah Chen led teams of scientists in sharing the ancient technology with trusted alien allies, ushering in a new era of technological advancement. The Oraxians, in particular, were eager partners, their scientific minds meshing well with human ingenuity. Mike Chen found himself in the strange position of training a mixed unit of human and alien peacekeepers. Never thought I'd be teaching a Vrexian how to use a stun baton, he chuckled during one session. On the diplomatic front, Amina Okoro became Earth's first official Galactic Council member. Her first act was to propose a new law prohibiting unprovoked attacks on developing civilizations. The law passed unanimously, with even the Zorgans grudgingly voting in favor. But not all was smooth sailing. Some alien races, fearful of Earth's rapid rise, began to form alliances against the newcomers. The Kroll, in particular, watched Earth with wary eyes, their warlike nature chafing under the new galactic order. President Thompson, addressing the United Nations, emphasized the challenges ahead. "We have won our place among the stars," she declared, "but now we must prove ourselves worthy of it." As Earth rebuilt, it also reached for the stars. The ancient technology, combined with human determination, allowed for the rapid development of a space fleet. Soon, ships bearing the flag of Earth were a common sight in galactic ports. Commander Zix, stripped of his rank and facing trial for war crimes, watched bitterly as a human ship docked at his homeworld spaceport. "How quickly the mighty fall," he muttered. But for every bitter enemy, Earth made new friends. The Lyrans, a race of peaceful explorers, found kindred spirits in human scientists. Together, they embarked on ambitious projects to map unknown regions of the galaxy. Years passed, and Earth's influence only grew. Human culture, from music to food to art, became the latest craze in galactic society. Alien tourists flocked to see the Great Wall of China and the pyramids of Egypt, marveling at the resilience of a species that had faced extinction and emerged stronger. In the Galactic Council, Amina Okoro, now a respected elder stateswoman, reflected on the journey. "We came to the galactic stage as victims," she told a group of new human diplomats, "but we rose as leaders. Never forget the responsibility that comes with that power." As she spoke, a new crisis loomed on the galactic horizon. Whispers of an extragalactic threat that would soon test the unity of all known races. But that was a story for another day. For now, Earth celebrated its victory and its new place in the cosmos. The blue planet, once a backwater unknown, had become a shining beacon of hope and strength in the vast galactic community. Humanity had not just survived, it had thrived. And the universe would never be the same again.